Hi, this is Dr. Kay Sweetser from San Diego State University, and I'm going to show you how to take something that you've coded in Google Forms and import it into SPSS so that you can then do your data analysis. The first step that I would do is I would create what I like to call the SPSS Bible. So this is basically a printout of your really pretty form that you did all of your coding in, and it's annotated such that it's like a legend or a key for what you'll eventually put in your data view, in your variable view for your SPSS. So I would write out, here I have item medium. And this particular question looked at whether the item was a printed article, web only, broadcast, etc. And so I would write out my little SPSS name slug, my little short name that I'm going to call this variable in SPSS variable view. I would write that out off to the side here on my printout. And then next to print article, which is a nominal category, I would put a 1. And then next to web only, I would put a 2. Broadcast 3, wire 4, opinion 5. And I would do this with all of my nominal or my categorical variables so that I would know that in my SPSS variable view, when I see a 3 for item medium over in data view, that's going to be a broadcast item because SPSS cannot do statistics or procedures on string data. And I have to turn everything into a numeric indicator. So go through your code sheet after you've printed it up, and then look for all of your questions that are categorical/nominal and give them values that you will then later plug in to all of your variable view in SPSS. When you come to something that's like a grid, remember that each line on the grid, each row, is going to be its own variable. So I would do this nation_US. 1 equals present, 0 equals absent. I would write out here nation_AUS for Australia. And then the value 1 is present, 2 is absent, and so on and so forth for all of my variables that are on my code sheet. Next, you need to go into your actual responses that were on your or that were coded in from that form into your backend database. And here we're going to basically export this file. We're going to open it in Excel, clean it up, and then bring it into SPSS, our last stop. So I'm going to do File, Download As, and I'm going to save it as a tab separated values file, TSV. And then I'm going to open that in Excel. When I just try to open it naturally, it's going to do it in text edit, which is not what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it in Excel instead. So I'm going to do File, Open with Microsoft Excel. In this particular file, we have things like present and absent. We have print article, wire. All of these things, before you put them into SPSS, need to be turned into numeric indicators. So go back to your printout SPSS Bible so that you know what it is you need to put here as a number so that you can import it into SPSS. So the easiest way to clean up your data here in Excel is going to be Edit, Replace, and then you're going to type in exactly how the cell looks. You see I have the word present and it's lowercase, and then I'm going to replace that with a 1, and I'm going to click Find Entire Cells Only and Replace All. So go ahead and keep your eye in the background here and notice how all of these things that say present, when I click Replace All, are going to turn into 1s. And there they are. They've all turned into 1s. So with absent, which I also have plugged in as lowercase, I can either put a 0 or I can put just a blank because I don't necessarily need absent in there. And so I'm going to look for Find Absent, Replace with Blank, Find Entire Cells Only, make sure that's checked, and then keep an eye on this absent and these guys over here. All of these cells are going to empty out as soon as I press Replace All. And there they are. So you're going to go ahead and save this and then you're going to import it into SPSS. So go ahead and open up SPSS, and you're going to want to open up a blank file, because in that blank file we're going to import this now cleaned up version of your data set. You do need to go through your SPSS Bible while you're in Excel and make sure that all of your nominal categories that you had identified on your SPSS Bible now have numbers in those cells instead of words. So instead of seeing wire or print, I want to see a 1 or a 2 or whatever the case is. Instead of seeing present, I want to see a 1, etc. So with SPSS open in a blank file, you're going to start to import your file. So go File, Read Text Data. And then you need to find the file that you want to import. And I'm going to look for all of my files. And I think I put it on the desktop. And I called it Import This. So there we go. And open. It's going to bring up a import wizard that has 6 steps to it. The first thing I want to do is in this preview box, I just want to scroll over and make sure that things don't get moved off from one cell into another, so that I see that all of these here are the unique ID numbers for my articles. I don't want to see a unique ID number where my coder name was supposed to be. I want to make sure that everything is in the cell that it's supposed to be in. And so I'm just going to scroll down and look, and everything looks good. So I'll go to the next step, Continue. How are your variables arranged? Well, they're delimited. They're delimited with a tab. That was one of the decisions that we made when we did our output or our export. And so you can go ahead and keep delimited with a tab there. Do you want the variable names to be included at the top of your file? I'm going to go ahead and say no, because every time I've tried to import this before, I've had a couple of problems, and I'll just know that I need to get rid of that data right there. So go ahead and press Continue. Each line is going to represent a case, and I want to do all of the cases. Continue. How is it delimited? It was tab delimited only, so I'm going to uncheck all these other things. Scroll down to make sure, again, that I don't see an ID number over in, say, the date column, that everything is contained in the way that it needs to be contained. Press Continue. And then how do I want to name things? Just let it do what it wants to do here, because I have had a couple of problems where it just crashes. And so just let SPSS be SPSS here. And then Continue, and then Done. And so now in SPSS, we're going to have all of our data that we had previously over in Excel now in SPSS. You notice that this very top line here were the headers. I'm going to delete that out. I'm going to do Edit, Clear, because that's not really data. That was just my header. All right, and now I need to go into Variable View, and I need to take what I originally had as my SPSS Bible, the printout, and when I said that 1 equals print, 2 equals publication, I need to find it here in medium, and my medium is V9, and I need to change. Instead of V9, I'm going to call it medium. And I'm going to make it a numeric instead of string variable. And then the label is going to be item or medium in which item was published. And then the value was going to be 1, print article, add, and so on and so forth. So this is my writing of the variable view, and I'm going to save throughout the process. This is my writing of the variable view to get everything finalized so that I can go and to do my descriptive statistics and whatever else I may want to do with my data analysis. So just to summarize our process, you're going to first print out your code sheet from your Google form the pretty version, and you're going to mark that up into your SPSS Bible. You're going to open up the Google responses, and you're going to export them as a tab delimited file. You're going to open up that tab delimited file in Excel, and this is where you're going to start to change the words into numbers, where present now equals 1, print now equals 1, wire equals 2, etc. And then you're going to save that, and then you're going to import all of that into SPSS, and then you're going to clean up your variable view so that it matches that printout that you had as defined on your SPSS Bible, and save throughout this process. And that is how you clean and import all of your data from Google to SPSS.